So I'm out here looking at some of these longleaf sites on DCR Natural Heritage property that we've burned. I think the last time we burned this one was probably 3 years ago. Got a pretty hot burn.
What we're going to do when we get down a little bit further, bring fire down here out to the road. Copy.
These plantings were all done, kind of using a standard forestry spacing. I think it was like 10 by 10 or 12 by 12, and that standard is for commercial forestry practices. I.e., you're going to log it at some point, and this planting was done for ecological restoration. Part of the thinking was that you wanted to ensure survivability, but as you can see in here, these sandy sites, we probably have 90% or more survivability of the planting. Now what that means in practical terms is that at some point you're going to have to come in and thin all this longleaf that you planted. In terms of a fuel bed of what we're burning out here, this is a very sandy site. We've got some hardwood encroachment in here, and the prescribed fire is intended to to keep that at bay. The fire itself in these longleaf, it'll prune off the lower branches, so you get that fire pruning. And then once they get tall enough, there's no ladder from the longleaf itself. So what you're burning a lot is the needle cast underneath it and the herbaceous growth underneath it, and you can get a pretty vigorous fire in here from just that. So ultimately what we're trying to do with these sites is get them more open, savanna-like, and the hope is with the fire we'll keep the hardwood down, we'll invigorate the understory, and also do some thermal thinning of the longleaf. We've gotten a few spots in here rather hot from the prescribed fire, and that's opened it up and thinned out some of the longleaf, not exactly intentionally, but that's kind of what happens sometimes. So what we're looking for in those longleaf planted sites is ultimately a site that looks like this, with the longleaf overstory instead of loblolly, and probably a little less stalking than what we have even in here. And that's the ultimate goal for restoration on these sites. That that's what it historically looked like on these sand ridges, and the fire history of the site from from stumps that we've dug up indicates that that's how it went in here. Longleaf, periodic fire to maintain it, and that's what we're shooting for. To get back to that historic ecosystem.